Next question from our panelists, please.
Okay, my question being a parent of West Haven High and having kids coming through the system, West Haven High has always had shops, woodworking, auto mechanics, printing, just to name a few. Why in 2013, when every child may not want to attend or go to college, and this program is being put on the hot seat for the possibility of being removing it from the curriculum, since all of these years?
Mr. Chatterton.
Well, thank you for asking that question because it's very important. For one, I agree with you 100%. Why is it? Everyone's not going to Yale and most of us can't afford it. The simple fact is the shops have been eliminated. Mr. O'Brien eliminated himself when he was on city council. The mayor didn't even speak up when he was asked during the campaign. That cost him his nomination for the Democratic Mayoral Town Committee. The shops have to be saved. The kids have learned, they've reduced the shop size. It's not like they're completely eliminating everything. They want to get rid of auto. They want to get rid of wood shop, make it down to a small. These kids are in a lot of pride when they change a motor, change an oil, whether it's making a picnic bench. I'm all for these kids doing that, and I think the school should be behind them, and they should never have been cut from the first place. And I think the rooms, since the high school plans, everything's being rushed and everything isn't guaranteed, we should change this. And as mayor, I promise I'm going to save the shops.
Thank you. Mr. O'Brien.
I have to disagree with Mr. Chatterton. When I was on the city council, we had a plan of the high school was placed in front of us. We had a week to make a decision on a $109 million project. We were told that the plans that we were given were conceptual and that we were going to go back and revisit the shops and revisit the high school plan. And the proof of that is they hired an architect some years later to design the school. So the shops were not eliminated by me. I was misled when I was on the council, which happened quite often, and given information at the last minute. I feel that shops must be there. I think we should bring it into the 21st century, but I've never seen a laptop frame a house. I've never seen a laptop change an alternator, change a battery, change a tire. I think that we need the shops in the high school, and we must bring it in the 21st century, but they have to be saved. And I believe I came out very early on about it, and I know Bart did, I know Mr. Picard did, and he kind of kept quiet about it. So I think he should have taken a stand early on, and we could have had the shop saved. Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you. We're building a $100-something million high school, which is important for our entire community, which is important to our economic development and to our homeowners. So I think that's also an excellent thing. There's a couple of valid points brought up. It was a conceptual design, but in the past, if the city council wanted to delay something like the renovation of City Hall, they had no problem delaying it for several months until they made their point. But with that, we just got all the professionals on board. Turner Construction, arguably one of the best in the business, was hired several months ago. They have been looking at the plan. So it was conceptual design. The shops are not being eliminated. They're going to improve. You're going to have carpentry and auto and robotics and nursing. Let's celebrate all the things we do have, and these kids will have an opportunity. They'll be allowed to be exposed to it. One of the things I did, one of our students said, well, call Lou Bendini from UTI, which is a technical school that some of our high school students are going to. He said, John, you are a comprehensive high school. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math is extremely important. They teach it there. So we have to have it all there. He said, you don't have cars anymore. You have computers with engines. So if we don't modernize those shops, we will not be able to have our kids have a chance in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Chapman, you want to respond to Mr.
Oh, yes, I just want everybody to know that everybody here got here in a truck or a car. And if you got a flat tire or you had a problem along the way, it would be nice to know how to fix it. It's simple things like that. Common sense is what we're teaching our kids. And he said the shops were saved. Everybody has a different opinion. I've talked to people on the board, and right now the plans aren't finalized. This is the problem with the whole high school to begin with. Ed tells us we were given a week, $109 million decision. These are the decisions that are going on in town that shouldn't happen.
Next question.
Do I get to rebut?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to rebut one quick point. One of the proudest things that I'm proud of is bringing the Board of Ed to the Center of West Haven. I started working back with Mayor Bohr back in 2000 when I was on the Merchant. I spoke with John Picard. I brought it. I made the motion to move it there because John Picard withdrew it, which would have held the project up. So, as far as holding a project, I don't think it was me or the City Council that held it up. I think it was Mr. Picard. And there's council people here, so they're welcome, I'm sure, that they remember the same way I did. Thank you.
Mr. Picardi, if you want to respond to that.
Yeah, the fantasy land you live in is amazing. So from 2000, that Board of Ed, we moved the Board of Ed in 2005. They were renovating City Hall. When I got into office, it was a $20 million project to renovate City Hall, and it did not include the Board of Ed. That was on the council agenda. I took that. Then we went back and said, okay, and then we ended up closing it because we had an excellent relationship with the Board of Education in there. They were, how many towns actually have the Board of Ed moved in with their City Hall? It was a combined effort between the Board of Ed. Yes, the council did play a role in administration. Let's be clear about that, and we worked together. Very few towns have the Board of Ed in the City Hall. We may be the only one.
Thank you, Mayor. Next question.